right, friends, we are live for the People's Pre-Fight Show ahead of UFC Vegas 56, some afternoon MMA, and if you're on the West Coast, some late morning / early afternoon MMA, just the way we like it every once in a while. You know, it's nice to have these big pay-per-view events, but once in a while you mix in a 1 p.m. start time, and you're not going to hear any complaints out of me. But welcome. I am Mike Heck, the best friend. AK Lee is here as well. AK, we are 30 minutes away. Can we assess your excitement levels here?
Up to a 6.3 peak value, 6.3, 6.4. I think I've reached that sweet spot, Mike, my best friend, where my expectations have dipped so low that, I mean, how can I not be entertained by whatever is given to us? And again, even ahead of, like, there's a lot of new names on this card. Sometimes that can be exciting. I think there's some intrigue there. And, you know, for us, we followed a few of these names, you know, even before they came to the UFC. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see them make their debuts. I'm not promising like 3 or 4 fight of the year candidates on this card or anything, or even like, you know, knockouts of the year, submissions of the year, anything like that. But I do love the start time. I do think there's a lot of people who will be tuning in on ESPN Plus in the US or Fight Pass in Canada who have nothing better to do. And that's a fine mindset with which to go into watching an MMA card, I feel.
Most important question. Do we have a poll? Where's the poll, AK?
Oh, sorry. It's coming up now. I was actually in the middle of it. How much of hashtag UFC Vegas 56 are you planning to watch? And I will throw this up now. The whole thing, the main card, you know, maybe just saying, maybe, you know, spend this first part of the afternoon, go out to the park with the family, watch our show first, then go out to the park with the family, friends, whatever. Or just picking select fights here and there.
Is it the whole thing? Is it going to be spelled THING or THANG?
THANG, of course.
Excellent choice.
What am I? Actually, you know what? The third option will be we'll watch like certain fights on replay. There you go. So not even watching live. We'll watch it later.
Well, I knew this was going to be coming at some point. Our friend Tristan Gordet. I still can't believe Erin Blanchfield versus JJ Aldrich just kicking off the prelims. Feel bad. Blanchfield is getting a little bit disrespected here. Let me just say this. She is probably not unhappy about this at all. She's probably thrilled about this because wakes up in the morning in Las Vegas. She gets to fight, and then her day is over before 11 a.m. local time. So she's probably digging this. This is great for her. And for the Jersey crowd, they're probably happy too because they could watch her fight at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then they could go on about their day if they would like, or they could stick around and watch the rest of the card. But the good news is if you feel like Erin Blanchfield and JJ Aldrich are being disrespected here, we're going to try to even that playing field because not only are we going to take your questions and your thoughts about this card, which you can leave them in the comments, we'll pull them up and we'll address them. But we're not going to stop there. Normally we stop right when the first fight is about to begin. We're actually going to stick around and watch that first fight with all of you. So we're going to watch Erin Blanchfield versus JJ Aldrich live right here, right on the same link, and go from there. So we'll all watch it together. We'll give them the respect that they deserve. So there you go. So leave your questions, leave your thoughts, and then we'll get after this thing. So we'll begin. Well, Matt Maggio, no casual.
He's hardcore.
The whole thing. He's
hardcore. Duval. He's hardcore.
Let's go to Dennis. Best fight on the card, AK. What is the best fight on the card?
Again, you know, we can always go to the bantamweights. I love the Johnny Munoz, Tony Gravely fight. I think that's going 3 rounds, and this will be really competitive. I'm leaning towards Munoz, but I'm a huge Tony Gravely fan, so I don't know if I'm like subconsciously reverse jinxing here. Not that I believe in that sort of thing, but I also like what I've seen from Munoz. But I am leaning slightly towards Munoz. Actually, the undercard has some really fun competitive fights. Jeff Molina, Zumagulov, I think is a good one. Erin Blanchfield, Aldrich, I think will be more competitive than people think. But also potentially a showcase for those who just want to see like Erin Blanchfield do her thing. Like, and there is the possibility of an Aldrich upset for sure. But I think again, if you're coming to watch Erin Blanchfield, if you're tuning in for that first fight because you want to see either you're already a fan or you want to see what the big deal is, I don't think you'll be disappointed. Again, either because she dominates and you know, confirms what everyone thinks, or she's in a really competitive fight, and you know, we kind of get to see her tested, which is also good. Which is also good for someone who has the potential to be a future world champion. So. I like Damon Jackson, Daniel Argueta. I think, Argueta coming in short notice. He's actually a bantamweight, giving up a ton of size, but very skilled guy coming in undefeated. So he might take his first L today, but he could do a lot worse than against a veteran like Damon Jackson. The Selecki Alex Silva matchup is also good. And I think Felice Herrig and Karolina Kovacevic are going to really put their best foot forward in what could be the last or one of the last fights for either woman. Almost, I would say, very likely the last fight in the UFC. And who knows, given where they are in their careers, I could see either retiring off a win or a loss. So it'll be cool to see these two fighting again, and just have a lot of respect for them. And we can say sort of a proper farewell, perhaps, if this is the end or near the end.
Yeah, I like all those picks. I think there are going to be some good competitive fights here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go from one question to the next. I am so fascinated by this fight. Alonzo Menifield versus Askar Mozharov, because of the whole record gate and Tapology gate and Sherdog Fight Finder gate, all of it, because we have no idea like if this guy's even any good. But just his record going from 26-7 to 19-12 in a matter of 4 days is absolutely hilarious. And I think this fight is going to be incredible. I think it's just going to be two dudes throwing hammers at each other. I just hope we get that aggressive Alonzo Menifield. If we get that aggressive, like first couple fights in the UFC, Alonzo Menifield, this is going to be an absolute banger. This is going to be, I'm not comparing the two because the levels will not be the same, but this is going to have Volkan Ozdemir, Yuri Prohashka vibes to it if Alonzo Menifield comes out and is aggressive and looks for an early finish, because Mozharov fights like that. As Jed likes to say, he's a get or get got guy, kill or be killed. And if Menifield wants to play that game for however long this fight lasts, it's going to be amazing. So I like that fight. Right now, in terms of the betting odds, minus 250, come back on plus 200 for Mozharov. And I think the reason is we have no idea. We have no idea. This guy's record keeps changing. His fights keep changing. His name has changed multiple times throughout his career, apparently. So I just think we don't know who this guy is. And minus 250, plus 200. I mean, there's certainly confidence on the Menifield side, and money's been coming in on him all week, but good grief. I'm so fascinated by this fight.
I think there's also a bitter, regarding this question from Dax Schoof, why is Alonzo Menifield not a much bigger favorite? I think also there's a bitter taste in people's mouths from the William Knight fight. It was a dreadful, dreadful fight. I think Menifield will, I'm going like, first round finish. I do think, as you said, like Mozarov's going to go right at him and someone's going down. I think most likely Mozharov, but I can't see anyone having like that much faith in Menifield after that William Knight fight. It was just so bad.
If Movzar wins rather easily, should he already take on a top guy? For example, maybe the Korean Zombie. I think so. Yeah. I mean, we'll make if that happens, we'll make our official picks tomorrow and on to the next one. But I mean, I'd be certainly eyeballing the Arnold Allens, maybe the loser of Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, something like that. That's just off the top of my head without actually looking into it. But he should get a big fight. But it's gonna be. It might be a problem. Like if he goes out there in like 30-26s, Dan Ige today, which a lot of people feel he's going to do. I feel like this fight's going to be a little more competitive than people think it's going to be. I do think Movzar is going to win a decision, but I think there's going to be moments where Ige is going to shine, and Movzar fans are going to be a little, oh crap, oh no. But yeah, he should get a big fight. It's just a matter of will he find an opponent that's going to say yes? That might be his issue. We'll see. Yeah,
that's the danger of being an exciting dominant prospect, right? Is you hit that unfortunate wall where you want a piece of everybody, but not everyone necessarily wants a piece of you at that point.
I mean, you're the guy, AK. You are predicting a perfect card.
I will have a perfect card. Yes.
So 3 surefire locks.
Okay.
Give your disclaimer about betting on MMA first.
Oh, don't do it. It's my disclaimer. I just don't believe in gambling and anything in general. But I'm a very cautious person. That's how I'm the most cautious person you'll ever meet. That's how I live my life. So obviously don't trust me. If you enjoy gambling and it makes watching cards more fun for you, obviously go for it. I know that's why people do it. I had a roommate, he used to splash like $5-10 on these kind of random fight night cards just to make things more you can be more invested. I'm invested in every fight for, I don't know, my own reasons. I guess we're in the industry, we're invested, but yeah, whatever. If you like throwing money in there and it makes it more fun, go for it. MMA is supposed to be fun, so whatever you enjoy. To be sure for our locks, I'll go Menifield. I mean, I know we're saying Mozharov is a wild card, but I think this particular opponent is the right guy to kind of back up all the skepticism around him. So I'll go Menifield. Kovalkiewicz, I think I'll go as well. I know it's going to go to a decision, and the first one went to a split, but probably shouldn't have. Pretty clear KK win. So I'll go with her to win again. I just don't think they've changed that much. I know we haven't seen Felice Herrig in a while, but just how different could she be at this stage? And Evloev. I feel very confident of Evloev with respect to Dan Ige. I think it'll be a good competitive fight. I just think we'll have a pretty strong performance in Evloev. So Evloev, Karolina Kovalkiewicz, and and Alonzo Menifield.
I will go with Renat Fakhretdinov, who's fighting Andreas Michailidis. I feel very strongly he's going to finish this fight in the first 8 minutes, whether it's by knockout or by submission. I know Michailidis has never been submitted in his career, but I just see him getting walloped and choked very quickly in this fight. Fakhretdinov is nasty, and I think he's won 8 in a row heading into this fight. Really solid, scary prospect. He just goes out there and finishes fight. So I feel very confident in that selection. I feel very confident in Damon Jackson. I know he's the biggest favorite on the card. I like Daniel Argueta. I think Daniel Argueta is going to be really good. I think he's going to have a pretty bright future. But at 135, he's hopping up to 145 here. I think Damon's just way too big, way too physical. And I think Argueta is going to have his moments. I think it's going to be competitive for a few minutes, but I think Damon's going to get a submission in this one. So I feel good about that. And then the third one's kind of tough, but I will go with Erin Blanchfield. I think JJ is going to give her I think JJ is going to test her today. JJ is a tough out for a lot of people, a lot of fighters in this division, but I think Erin Blanchfield should win a decision here. So those are my 3 that I'm most confident about, but I don't know. There's some ones I feel confident about, but I'm not willing to throw those out there.
And speaking of Blanchfield, of course, we have our usual Blanchfield supporters in the chat. Shout out to MMA Dog. MMA Dog saying, telling me jump on the Blanchfield hype train while there's still time, and Tristan trying to call me out as usual. Guys, I was here. Hold on. Let me ask this. Where were you guys when I interviewed Erin Blanchfield like 4 years ago? Where was it? Where was this? Don't tell me to get on the hype train. I was leading the hype train. What the hell is this? That story didn't exactly do gangbuster numbers. So guys, don't tell me like, oh, there's this huge hype train that I need to get on. It's like I interviewed her 4 years ago. I'm aware of the Erin Blanchfield hype train. I was driving it. I'm probably partially responsible for it existing. So I'm a fan, guys. I'm a fan, but I'm telling you, you don't need to be all in on this, on prospects like this. If you get something extra out of it, again, that's great. I like to have cautious optimism. Like I think she's an awesome prospect. If she won a UFC title someday, I'm the last person who'd be surprised. I'd be like, yeah, Erin Blanchfield is super skilled. She's also 23 years old, and she's in a tougher division than people think.
But is she on Marina Moros's level?
Yeah, everyone's like, is she on Marina Moros? I'm like, listen, Marina Moros is more experienced and has beaten better competition than her. So if you want to rank her above Marina Moros, that's fine. But I mean, I don't think there's any reason that we need to go like, oh, she's better than all these fighters that she hasn't even faced yet. Like that's crazy. Let's see how I think she'll do great tonight. But I don't know why MMA fans in general feel like they need to anoint people before they've done anything. Like that's just crazy to me. She's 23 years old with 9 pro fights. We don't know what she's going to be. I think she'll be a champion someday. But if she isn't, guess what? That wouldn't surprise me either. I won't be disappointed. She's very young.
Prelim start at 1 p.m. Eastern, so 15 minutes, and we're going to watch the first fight together. So we got you covered. We'll let you know when it starts. Speaking of Damon Jackson, biggest favorite on the card. Is he an actual title? I don't know, prospect's the right word when you're as experienced as this man and has had as many fights as this man. And by the way, his name is Damon Jackson, not Damon Martin. I'm curious to see if the commentators will mess that up. It's a 2-man booth today, I believe. Anik and Paul Felder.
Yes.
But is this a guy? Is Damon Jackson a guy?
I think it's Brendan. Is it not Brendan? Oh, the email said
no. It's Anik. It's Anik.
Oh, the press release said Brendan Fitzgerald. What a bunch of lies.
Yeah, Anik. I talked to Anik yesterday. It's him,
and he was at the weigh-ins too. He did the weigh-ins. So.
Yeah, he's there. He'll be calling this one. Then he's hopping on a plane to Singapore.
Wow.
So do you consider Damon Jackson a guy who could fight for a title someday?
I would have to file that under the anything can happen thing because again, I'm a fan of Damon Jackson. I think he's but I think he's kind of the classic UFC action fighter. You know what I mean? He's reliable. You can throw him in there. You know he's going to put on an exciting fight. He's well versed all over. You know, very exciting grappler, but I think pretty well rounded. A threat always to pick up a performance bonus. A threat to upset people. You know, you never know. You throw him in there with a prospect to test them. He could certainly upset them, but. No, it's if I was a betting man, if it's a strict yes or no, I would predict no. And again, I say this with a great fondness for Damon Jackson because I think he's really fun to watch. But I don't see a world title contender.
Mozharov is a monster. I mean, I got to tell you, just from heck of a morning and everything, a lot of excitement around Mozharov. A lot of people. This is before the whole record gate thing happened, but we'll see what happens. Terrence Leverett, hello, Otno crew. What makes you slow roll certain newcomers like Erin and rush others? What makes you feed someone on a losing streak to a tough matchup and others you say the need to get a back fight? I don't know. I think we'll kind of address the first question because I've said a few times I have no issue with the UFC just slowly building Erin Blanchfield up. And I know we saw Manon Fiorot come in. She's a win away from a title shot at this point. She's about to fight Caitlin Chukagin in Paris. We have Casey O'Neill, who has had some big fights. She's already fought a top 10 opponent, got a win. But Erin, I'm okay if JJ's not really a slow roll in my eyes. Miranda Maverick's certainly not a slow roll, but I don't necessarily need to see Erin Blanchfield fight like Miesha Tate or Lauren Murphy or Caitlin Chukagin or Andrea Lee, like right now. Now, if Erin Blanchfield wins today, could we be talking about maybe an Andrea Lee kind of opponent? Sure. I think that's possible, but I have no problem, especially when you have Casey O'Neill, because I think I know you guys did the ranking show the other day and you were doing the Fugazi, Real Deal, and interim category. And I actually have Casey O'Neill as I have O'Neill, Blanchfield, Fiorot. Like Fiorot,
we needed you for the Casey O'Neill. Because I was thinking as we were doing the show, I'm like, if Mike were here, like he'd make a strong case for Casey O'Neill.
Yeah, I think we kind of forgot about her. She had the Roxanne fight. There's a lot that went into that fight. We have to understand that Casey I think she's a year older, maybe less than a year older than Erin Blanchfield is. I mean, she's good, man. Like she's real good. And she went out there and just ran over her first couple of opponents before she got the Roxanne fight. So we've seen Erin look good. I mean, Sarah Alpar, I like Sarah as a person, not a UFC level fighter, if we're being honest. And then the Miranda Maverick win was super impressive, but we watched Casey O'Neill just run over people and finish them, break them and stop them. We watched Manon Fiorot viciously knock out a couple of opponents. So I think once Erin gets a finish, I think we're going to look at her. Maybe we'll build her up a little bit more. Maybe she gets the Jessica Eyes of the world, maybe the Andrea Lees of the world. But if they just build Erin slowly, I think what Erin does so well, she does I think her like the wrestling and the grappling, she does that so well. She's so advanced. I don't think her striking, she's had some great finishes with her hands and her feet in her career. That head kick was her striking is not as good as Manon Fiorot's, and it's close to Casey. Like her and Casey are pretty close. But I feel like if we're going to build somebody up slower, I believe Erin's the one, if that makes sense.
If you think Erin Blanchfield is good now, wait till you see her a year from now. You guys will be like, holy, like we'll compare a fight, like her fight with JJ Aldrich today, which again, I'm sure she has a chance to do really well. But I bet we compare her fight with JJ Aldrich today to an Erin Blanchfield fight 1 year from now, and we'll be like, holy crap, like she looks it's just like huge level up.
Yes, we have the return of Benoit Saint-Denis on this card. AK is going to be taking on Nicholas Stolze. And Hector says, storyline of Benoit Saint-Denis hasn't been brought up at all. His return since the criminal beating he took. Hope he comes back strong. I'll open up my little book here. I think not only will Benoit Saint-Denis get his first UFC win, I think he will get his first UFC finish today. Oh. Your thoughts? Yeah,
I'm leaning towards Stolze, maybe because I've just seen him a little bit more, but I don't feel strongly about this pick either way. I don't know if the story needs to be brought up that much. I don't know what there is to say besides it's amazing he's alive and still fighting after that referee Kiselev just an atrocity as far as officiating goes. Yeah, poor Saint-Denis like just took a lot of unnecessary damage, and yeah, no, and it's great to see him back. I understand that, but other than saying that, there's just not much of a storyline around it. But hopefully, Mike, you're right. I mean, how amazing would it be if he rebounds from just that horribly ugly fight that we'd all like to forget, and gets like a performance of the night, knockout or submission, something like that. So it'll be more of a story after. I think we're only seeing like sort of the first him getting in there is like cool. It's like the first half of the story. I think by the end of the night, if he gets a big finish, he will be one of the three fighters that we're talking about the most.
Joseph, I have an issue with this comment because
who's this we?
Yeah, I think it's the we word, obviously, but it's the if. It's the if word.
Okay, Mike, hold on.
Because all right, it's happening. He's going to win. He's going to submit him in the first round, and I've said that since October of last year. And maybe I'm wrong, and I'll probably take a beating for it, but I'm okay. I'm willing to take the beating for this. Tristan, do you have the same conviction that Movsar Evloev will be featherweight champion at some point as you do with other fighters in other weight classes? Makhachev, Tsarukyan, etc.
Wow, Tristan, that's a really good question. That's what we should do for a future ranking show, is not just compare guys in division, like in the same division, but compare sort of, fast moving rankings risers to one another in different divisions, because that's a good question. Those names specifically, I feel this like about Makhachev, kind of the way I've been saying about Blanchfield, because Makhachev's only 22, and he's only had like 7 pro fights or something like that. So he's even on paper,
but he had like 50 amateur fights.
Oh yeah, this is true. He also had a crazy. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more of Makhachev that we've seen. So, I mean, if you were to rank them, I think Makhachev would probably be at the top for most of us. Tsarukyan, it's hard to say just because the division is so deep. So I'd actually put him behind Evloev. But certainly, yeah, if we're comparing Evloev to like Blanchfield, Tsarukyan, Makhachev, other blue chipper, Almeida, Charleston, Almeida. Boy, do I put him in that tier? I'm less confident, if only because if people listen to the rankings show, we kind of threw Ilia Topuria in the mix as well. And Ilia Topuria is really my kind of like, if he can stay at 145 and make that weight without issue, he's kind of my lock to be a champion, or at least fight for the title someday. I wish they had fought. I really wish they had fought earlier this year. Unfortunately, that fight fell through. So I'll say a soft no. And I'm really, really high on Evloev too. I just don't. Yeah, I won't put him up there with. I'm not as confident with as I would be with like Blanchfield or Makhachev or even Topuria. But that again, that speaks to the strength of the division he's in as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very high on him as well. I just think this division is really deep, and it's going to take Volkanovski probably leaving the division for me to change my mind. I just don't know if anybody beats Volkanovski at 145 right now. It's just a really deep division. And the problem, like Tsarukyan, if he goes out there and just runs over Mateusz Gamrot, which I cannot wait for that fight on June 25th, he's maybe another win away from putting himself in a position where you just have no choice but to say yes. You cannot say no to this guy anymore. But I just think Evloev's going to have a hard time finding opponents. But this division, I mean, he got Danny Ige because Danny Ige is just that dude, and he's not going to say no to anybody. Calvin Kattar would not say no, but if he beats Josh Emmett, he's probably fighting for the title next. And yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I think his road's a little bit longer. I think Makhachev, like I've said, I think Makhachev's going to be a 2-division champion. I think he's going to win the flyweight title and the bantamweight title, but he's still young. This isn't going to happen this year. This is going to happen in like 3 or 4 years when he starts fighting for belts and winning belts. So yeah, I am higher on Movsar. I'd like to see some of his game improve, especially the striking. If he could start to strike better, man, because we saw Tsarukyan. Like Tsarukyan for a while was just running dudes over, just a night like 30-26ing everybody. But the one thing we were missing was the finish. And now he's out there getting finishes, just steamrolling guys, not just with the ground game, but he's doing it with the hands. He's doing it with the feet. He's doing it with the striking and the wrestling. If we could see Evloev start doing that, bloodying dudes up, landing vicious strikes, I think I might change my pick a little bit, but he's close. He's on that fence. I need to see a little more from Movsar, but I'm very high at him, and I'm certainly intrigued. Mozharov by KO because MMA.
Could be.
I picked Mozharov by a KO.
You did not. Stop it.
First
Stop
round
it.
AK.
I am going to our Slack and looking at Michael Heck's picks right now, and he has picked. It is locked in. Mozharov, or it will be locked in about 5 minutes. It is Mozharov by KO TKO round 1. He's picking I mean, look.
That's why, because MMA.
It's a fine prediction. He has legitimate, like, well, I don't know how legitimate because his last 2 fights were against very questionable competition, but he looks good. He has very fast hands, very fast feet. I mean, the striking, there's some sort of striking there. Again, do I think he's gonna be able to kind of pull that off at this level against a guy who I think is pretty solid in Alonzo Minifield? I don't know, but hey, take this as, again, classic cautious AK. Maybe you go with the wild man Mike Heck and jump on that Mozharov knockout train. I don't know.
If it just depends. If Minifield comes out and wants to sling, then it's a 50-50 fight. Mike Slag, I was surprised at the shade thrown on Volkov this week. The dude's the bottom of the very vest. Am I right? I don't think it is. I mean, unless you're talking about the previous show, we all picked Jairzinho to win, but none of us are like overly confident with the pick. We think there's value on the betting side of things, and we think that the smaller cage might help. But Volkov could very easily just stay away and kick Jairzinho in the body 115 times and win a decision. Like, and most people you talk to are picking Volkov to win this fight. They feel like Volkov is the more complete guy. I just feel Jairzinho is. I feel like Jairzinho is being slept on more than Volkov, AK, at least from what I've seen.
I think the question is more about just the criticism, not just of Volkov, and also the main event. I would think that's part of it too. Because I think a lot of the eye rolling was, I think Jairzinho got some of it, but I think Volkov got a lot of it because the last time we saw him, he was getting armbarred by Tom Aspinall, and there was a lot of I saw a lot of why is Volkov getting another main event and not necessarily Jairzinho, though he's also had his fair share of, or at least one, the Cyril Gane fight main event stinkers. But I did see Volkov taking the bulk of it. Maybe it's because he's kind of the A side. He's the higher ranked fighter. We've seen more of him. He doesn't have the highlight reel KOs of Jairzinho, so I think people still kind of hope for, like kind of we did on the previous show, saying like, oh, maybe we see that that Jairzinho that kind of bursts onto the scene in the UFC. We get a fast finish. I don't see as many people predicting that for Volkov, though it could certainly happen. It could certainly happen. So yeah, it is a little unfair. It is a little unfair, and I do think both fighters are being disrespected. But also it's also because the UFC just keeps defaulting to, well, if we have 2 ranked heavyweights in the card, they have to be the main events. And I understand to the casual fan, it's easier to sell. You sell 2 big guys. It looks good in a poster. It looks good in a commercial. But you could have done Ige and Evloev. I get it. Not household names. But guess what? Nobody in this card's a household name. If you're ever going to play around and kind of experiment with the bout order and put ranked featherweights above ranked heavyweights, this was probably the time to do it. And I think this is going to be a good competitive fight, too. I know we're all saying Evloev. It's probably like 90% picking Evloev, but I do think it'll be competitive for what it is, even though I think Evloev will win convincingly. So, listen, let's be nicer to both Volkov and Rozenstruik. They don't book the fights. They shouldn't be disrespected like that.
Mike Slag, at $5 burning a hole in my pocket. Could someone channel Jed and tell me where to drop it? Listen, I mean, I would I'm not a guy who would tell you most people to do parlays, but I think there's some prop parlays to do. Like, I think if you can find a line on Felice Herrig versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz, fight goes the distance or fight goes to decision, I think you jump all over that as a parlay piece. I think you probably go with the Alonzo Menifield Mozharov fight does not go to decision prop as well in there. Yep. And yeah. And then maybe throw like a Damon Jackson. Maybe throw like Damon Jackson in there as like a third piece.
Ooh.
Something like that.
Oh, interesting. I was gonna say I thought Blanchfield would be your thing that I don't know how gambling works. The thing that ties the prop together, the surefire thing that ties the prop together. But yeah, definitely go prop bet if you're I suppose, or what do we call a parlay if you're I don't gamble at all. Yeah, definitely go parlay
some props.
Yeah, turn that $5 into like $50. You know what I mean? That's the real fun, right?
Parlay some props. Just find like Herrig Kowalkiewicz is going to a decision. Like that might be the best lock of the entire card.
Barring injury, barring
something crazy, that fight's going to a decision. And I believe fight goes to split decision is plus 350 right now. So not a bad look, not a bad line there. Because most of these fights, if they go to a decision, they're going to a split. So especially with the ladies, especially in this division. So Michaelitis with the kind of reverse weight class jump, 205, 185, now at 170. AK,
Mhm.
thoughts on this?
Yeah, the Rumble Johnson, right? The Rumble Johnson. Yeah.
The reverse rumble.
It's good. I honestly did not even know until this week that was happening. I guess I hadn't kept track of the fight booking. So good for him. His opponent also, Fakhretdinov, is also, has also mostly competed at middleweight. So I think for Fakhretdinov, I'm almost sure I'd have to take another close look at the records. This is actually his first time fighting at 170. I think Michailidis has fought at 170 before, or it's the other way around. I'm sorry. One of them has fought at 170 outside the UFC, and one of them hasn't. But so I apologize if I got that mixed up. But yeah, good for Michailidis. Yeah, for making that drop. Hey, he's a talented guy. Maybe he has just competing at the wrong weight class. I think it's a very tough matchup for his fight at 170 because I do think Fakhretdinov is a legitimate prospect. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Michailidis is the prospect in hiding, and all he needs to do is cut those 35 or 40 pounds, whatever he needs to finally get down to this weight.
Main card starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So there you go. Blanchfield by decision. Mozharov Menifield ends in the first. Kovalevich money line, 3 locks.
The Mozharov Menifield, the problem is such a weird fight. You could have like this weird feeling out process in the first round, and then like an insanely explosive knockout in the first like 5 seconds of the second round. So I don't know.
Yeah, Haney Camboso is probably the best fight of the weekend. So if you're gonna watch that and then watch some boxing, that should be a lot of fun. By the way, I forgot
weight drama. I missed it. I missed the weight drama yesterday.
Yeah, there was a slight miss, and then it was told that it was gamesmanship because he went back and made it after. So. Good for him.
David Sandine says he predicts the winner of the weekend will be Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick is so good. There you go. There's my lock. If you go watch Top Gun Maverick this weekend, you'll have a good time. There's my lock.
Ode Osborne back against Zaruk Adashev. That's an interesting fight because Adashev looked pretty good in his last fight.
Mm-hmm.
But ladies and gentlemen, the broadcast has started.
Oh, it's starting.
JJ Aldrich already in the octagon, AK. Erin Blanchfield is about to walk in the octagon.
They gave JJ the jobber entrance? No music?
She was in before they went live.
Oh, that's bad. That's the start of AEW Rampage. She's already in the ring. She's about to get squashed. So we're going to stay here?
We're staying here.
Okay, fantastic. Guys,
we're staying here.
Again, ESPN Plus, the whole card's on ESPN Plus today. No ESPN 2, no ESPN. It's all on ESPN Plus. Same with, and if you're in Canada, if you guys are watching Canada, UFC Fight Pass, not on TSN. So yeah, flip it on, guys. Flip it on, dual screen, whatever you got to do. I'm gonna try and get a little 2 screens going on my laptop here.
Would you drink a mac and cheese milkshake, AK?
Oh gosh, is that the Dana White thing?
Yeah, it's a Dana White thing.
I probably would. Sounds gross as hell, but I'd at least try. Are you allowed to sweeten it?
I don't know.
Probably not, right? That's kind of defeats the purpose of it, right? It's got to be straight traditional mac and cheese, right?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
They really
shaven Mike, best Mike. See, I have like the Corey Matthews face of Corey Matthews on Boy Meets World. I used to love the show Boy Meets World when I was growing up, and he always talked about he would get a haircut and it would look good for like the whole process between haircuts is it would look good for a day. And that's the way I handle the facial thing is right before a pay-per-view, like usually the Friday before a pay-per-view week, the Friday before, I'll shave it all off. I'll keep it at like a half and then I'll grow it out. And then by the time the pay-per-view fight week comes, like it'll be at the perfect length. And then it just grows out and looks weird and silly. So I basically just shave it so that it can grow back slightly and look good for like a day and a half. And then I just shave it again.
By the way, 65% saying they're gonna watch the whole thing. Now, keep in mind, this is people who also are lovely enough to tune in to our pre-fight Q&A. So this is a very select audience of people. I wonder if you poll, if I did a more broader poll on MMA fighting, like and tweeted it out, how many people would say they're watching the whole thing? But 65%, good for you guys. Good for you guys. Yes. Afternoon MMA, we'll be done by dinner time, right? So that's fun.
Yes. Jeff Molina fans, MMA Dog. All right, here we go. Chris Tione, which means if there's any tomfoolery, we're gonna get 18 warnings before we take a point. But
shout out Brittany Palmer rocking the new LGBTQ plus gear, UFC's gear, Yes. And Jeff Molina for proudly touting it earlier this week and people asking if he himself was gay, and he's like, no, I'm not, but whatever, I support it. He's an ally. It's great. So good job.
Right,
good job.
If you are planning to watch exactly the same time as me, and I don't know where you are, okay, We're at 450 of the first round. Fight just started.
I think I'm ahead. I think I'm actually ahead. So
Okay,
you're about to see you're about to see a little action there from JJ.
Yep. So we saw kind of a slip and fall from
not a
Erin
knockdown.
Blanchfield.
Not a knockdown. That definitely looked like a slip.
And Blanchfield throwing them hands. All right. This is kind of what I want to see. But Aldrich is very happy being here. Good jab. Nice left hand. But you're ahead, so
I'm a little ahead, so I'm not. But I'm not gonna give play-by-play anyway. So you get play-by-play. I'm just sort of kind of react to more of the bigger action that happens.
All right, maybe we'll find some more questions here.
Yeah, depending on if you're watching in Canada or watching ESPN Plus or watching by nefarious means, we could be at different parts here. But we got a little action against the fence here. JJ Aldrich, I think, wisely getting out of there, getting out of that clinch. I think Blanchfield does have the superior clinch game.
I agree. Scale 1 to 10. What are the chances you have Danny Gay beating Mozharov today?
I'm so high on Mozart. It sounds so bad because I want to say higher just because I do think Danny Gay is like a legitimately tough guy and someone who's going to be in the top 15 like for a while, because I think he'll lose to this prospect but then bounce back with a couple of wins. I think there's some prospects that won't get past him. But I'm at a 6, if only because I've really been all in on Mozart winning this fight this week, and I got to stand by that. So I'm at a 6 for Ige because he is tough, but I feel pretty confident about Mozart.
Yeah, I'm right around the same. I think Dan's gonna have his moments. I think Dan's gonna scare some folks. I think he's gonna scare the parlayers a little bit. I think Mozart's gonna win, but I think it's a competitive fight. JJ's looking pretty good here.
Yes, but she always does. She looked good. I remember in the Macy Barber fight too. Right? I think she looked good in the first round, right before Macy Barber kind of turned it on her. So, Aldrich is a super solid fighter. Like, this is not, we were saying earlier, this is not a slow roll. This is putting someone with 2 UFC fights against someone with 10 UFC fights. And JJ's 7-3 in the UFC. Now you can pick apart whatever name she's fought, but I mean, when you fought that many times in the UFC and you've got a well above 500 record, you're a tough fighter. I like this matchmaking. Like, I think this is the right test for Blanchfield. Again, win or lose. I don't want people jumping off the bandwagon if she loses. I don't want people going too crazy if she wins, unless she records another head kick knockout. But yeah, this is the first half of this fight, if you're watching, guys, is like exactly how a young fighter should be tested.
What financial advice did you sue me for? I just turned this guy's $5 into like $750. So give me a break. Halfway through the first, feels like Blanchfield just hasn't really gotten going yet.
And by the way, I apologize for I'm not actively scoring this fight. I'm kind of looking at the chat. I'm kind of looking at Mike. I'm kind of looking at the screen. So don't trust my scoring. Whatever scoring I give you, I've Chris Tione, some kind of warning. Mike, you can tell me since you're a little behind, like what happened there. Clash of heads, maybe. Oh, clash of heads, I think.
Yep. Yeah, he's just like, okay, we clash heads, cool, let's go.
People throw up your scores in the. Oh wow, you're about to see a. Well, I'll let you know when you can let me know when you get to it.
Probably a takedown for Aldrich.
Takedown by Aldrich, yeah. Oh, but again, Blanchfield, super high level grappler, just gets back up.
This pace is this is something.
David Sandine says JJ's piecing her up. Again, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I have not been watching closely enough. I see a lot of activity from both women, but Sandine seems to think JJ Aldrich is winning, which is on the feet, which does not surprise me. Again, she's actually a really pretty solid striker. And like we said, Erin Blanchfield, a work in progress on there.
Burgos versus Jourdain, AK. July 16th.
That's going to be so good. Matchmakers, well done.
Great fight.
Well done. Fantastic. And I'm certain one that many of our Otno listeners had selected. Spencer Lane says 10-9 JJ so far. I think people seem to be in agreement because Blanchfield, a couple of takedown attempts stuffed. JJ keeping on the feet. People ignore the on-screen strike stats, please. They are not helpful to you. I assure you.
Play up your reactions like a fight companion. But those fight companions, like I think like the fight companion, basically the first ones to do it was Rogan and those guys, and they like didn't even watch the fights.
It's more like a hangout.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a big knockout, we're all gonna yell. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But good round for JJ here.
Yep.
Still got 15 seconds on my screen. You're probably done, but
Rolo Tomasi, JJ has Crips boxing. Blanchfield needs to mix it up. Brandon Sanchez, JJ getting it done. Sounds like I told y'all. And
we're a round in, people. Still early.
Yeah, like I said, this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Macy fight. But again, listen, I hope no one was saying like that Erin Blanchfield was going to run through her. JJ has a lot more experience against high-level competition. That's just how it is. But, I mean, not a terrible round for Blanchfield, but sounds like everyone's in agreement. That's a 10-9 for Aldrich.
AK, should Bilal barbecue some chicken quarters or just make a bunch of poutine tonight?
Oh, I answered him. I said, why not both? I don't understand why you have
Excellent idea.
Why not both? That sounds fantastic. I'm
10-9
so hungry.
JJ,
Mike,
agree.
I think we can tell people neither you and I have eaten today.
I've not eaten a thing.
Yeah, I'm running on fumes right now, but fumes and MMA and our wonderful listeners.
Yes. I went and got a workout in this morning, came home. Normally on Saturdays, me and my 9-year-old, we like to go to the driving range and just mash some golf balls. He's getting into golf now. And that's what we did. And we had a good time.
Sweet.
He's starting to get good. I hit some I hit some that my kid actually laughed at because I actually hammered him. Hit some good ones off the tee today.
Mike Slack says this is actually pretty dead even. So I don't know. Again, most people just think
I don't agree with that, but
I don't agree. But again, I have not been actively scoring. I have not been as I would for like a robbery review. So
yeah, JJ won that round.
Don't trust me on this one, guys.
But listen, it's where I'm definitely not like, oh my God. So someone questions, do you have confidence in JJ's cardio? That's going to be huge here in this fight because that was a pretty high pace.
Mm-hmm. I saw someone earlier saying like Blanchfield is like athletically is not up there, and I actually think that's one of the reasons she is so highly touted. I think Blanchfield is actually a really good athlete.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think Blanchfield could keep this pace.
Mm-hmm.
And she's starting to land a little more early on in this round. That left hand's starting to find a home. She's getting a little more aggressive.
Oh, there you go. She's getting tagged a lot. Boy, she's getting tagged a lot. Yeah, JJ's striking is really on point today. Really, really on point.
Erin's landing in this round too.
Yeah, good aggression from Blanchfield for sure. She's opening up. You know, you'll love to see that she's opening up, but she's getting tagged a lot. She is walking into punches.
She needs to get a takedown.
Yeah. And JJ's stringing together a lot more combinations, not just single shots. She's landed some 1-2s. And they're on the button too. They're on the button. I mean, she is connecting.
Yep. JJ going for the takedown and gets it.
Listen, we all know how I don't love mixing the martial arts. I don't love mixing. I don't love the mixing of the martial arts. But JJ Aldrich knows a lot more about fighting than I do. So this is her strategy. It's working all right so far.
And by the way, for those in the who want to talk about judging, that's a quality takedown. But it means nothing.
It means nothing. Yeah.
Literally means nothing.
JJ, I think, also had a takedown in the first round, too, that also didn't really lead to any offense. So that's not going to matter. But JJ is probably ahead just because she is definitely winning the boxing battle. Again, like we'd like to see Blanchfield opening up, but this is something she needs to work on because she is definitely getting outstruck, probably 2-1, maybe 3-1 in this round. Really good hands from Aldrich. I am watching a little bit closer now, as you guys can tell. So so I'll try to give my input.
About halfway through here. Erin's got to get something going here. Oh!
Yeah, nice knee to the body. That, again, not a knockdown, guys. Not a knockdown, but
this is good. This is good.
She is really
trying to lock
going
in a
for
gilly.
It. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
Wow, that was impressive.
She gets a tap.
She
wow.
did. Oh, she had
Damn.
she had the crank on that. She had the crank on that. Like that angle was scary. Wow. I don't know if it was just the air being cut off or also she was afraid that Erin Blanchfield was going to rip her head off because that was scary. Tristan, come out of hiding. Tristan, Erin Blanchfield won.
Give her a title shot, dude.
No, he disappeared during the commentary. I think he was sweating it. Tristan, she won. She won. You can come out now and I told you so.
She just needed to get her down and that's it.
Yeah, but listen, we said that was a lot like the Macy Barber. It really reminded us of the Macy Barber fight where I think Aldrich won the first round. And gosh, I don't know what it is. Maybe it is cardio. I saw people question cardio. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Maybe just some defensive things.
She made a mistake. She made a mistake for sure.
Yeah, and by the way, Blanchfield set that up. Nice knee to the body, and boy, that is that killer instinct that is so exciting with a prospect like her because she knocked her down and immediately went in and attacked and had a plan. She knocked her down and went in and like, okay, this is my chance to grapple. This is my chance to go for a finish. I don't know if she was thinking guillotine all the way, but she definitely thought, I've been having trouble sort of taking her down. I managed to knock her off balance with this knee to the body. And then, you know, hey, any way you can create grappling opportunities in an MMA fight, you go for it. And she did not waste it. She didn't back off. She didn't hesitate. So that's amazing for a 23-year-old. And her first UFC finish. Very impressive.
According to our friends at if you bet Erin Blanchfield by submission, plus 450. Some got it at a plus 500. But this is a big fight for her. This is one that she's going to grow a lot from. And she got the win. And she got her first UFC finish. So all in all, pretty good night. And it's 10:15 a.m. Eastern time in good old Las Vegas. So she can enjoy the rest of the day, or she can head on home if she wants. So good win for Erin Blanchfield, starting it off with the finish. She's now won 6 in a row. She should be 10-0 for being honest, because she didn't lose the fight that is lost on her record to Tracy Cortez. She won that fight. But that's it. I think we're done, AK.
I think so. Hey, listen, that Blanchfield train, y'all that are on it, keep tooting. What do people do with the trains now? Do people ride trains?
Choo-choo.
Keep choo-chooing, MFer. MFer, my BMF, keep choo-chooing. And because, hey, that was impressive. But it also went, I think, like we said, Mike, and a lot of us, like in the media said, like she'd be tested. She would be tested. That was not a walkover for Erin Blanchfield. She got hit a lot. But boy, this is a great fight to learn from. Her and her team are going to have so much footage to look at, all the things they need to improve in the striking. But yeah, as far as her talent level, it is through the roof. And again, she's only going to get better. Like I said, a year from now, we'll look back on this fight and laugh, and we're going to be like, holy crap, like Erin Blanchfield a year from now is like a real like threat to challenge for the titles. So, but yeah, hey, all you Erin Blanchfield fans, including myself, I'm a fan. Good stuff. Very, very fun way. I'm happy to watch this fight with you guys.
Yes, and that's it. We'll be back after this event for the live post-fight show, which will be at a very reasonable hour. The sun will still be out here in beautiful South Carolina by the time we do this post-fight show, after Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Alexander Volkov. AK, thank you for doing this, my friend. Go get something to eat. That is what I'm going to do.
Thanks everyone who tuned in. You guys are amazing.
You guys you're the real MVPs. So congratulations to Erin Blanchfield. We'll see you guys after the event. Enjoy the fights, everybody.